In this film, we're taking a look at the pod racer pilot, Gasgano, with his pit droid here. A pretty interesting character. Unfortunately, he's kind of a blink and you miss character. Probably oftentimes forgotten about among all the pod racers that we've seen. You know, most people remember, like, of course, Anakin, Savolta, Ben Quadraneros because of his incident, and then Odie Mandro even. A lot of characters like that, but this guy, he doesn't really get talked about very much. But he's pretty neat because not too often we get action figures from Hasbro that have four arms here. And on top of that, the four arms he has are all pretty well articulated. So we'll take a look at exactly what's going on with that here in a minute. We'll look at his package here first. Star Wars Episode 1, the iconic image of them all there. The picture of Gasgano there, the Comtech chip, and the bubble there with the pit droid. To be honest, I don't really recall seeing pit droids around him in the film. Of course, Odie Mandro, I recall seeing the pit droids like this, but that's not the one he ends up coming with, so kind of interesting. Typical description there, description about him, manning the pod racer. Then some of his voice lines, similar to Odie Mandro I reviewed previously. He has it where it's in his own native language. And of course we have the English subtitles here. So it looks like it's some pretty interesting lines. Then all the usual stuff that goes along with these Phantom Menace figures. Valorum should be now on the channel. And of course, now Gasgano. Then Mace Windu, Kiadi Mundi, and Boss Nass I hope to acquire at some point. And 10 Jedi Master Points. It's a pretty nice package. We'll look at the pit droid here first. I have a very hard time getting this pit droid to stand on his own. Usually I have to have him leaning against Gasgano there. And that's about the best I can do. And unfortunately, he doesn't have any holes at the bottom of his feet where you can plug them into a stand. So I'm very happy to have this because this is actually the very first pit droid I've owned in my collection. You know, throughout the years, Hasbro has done various pit droids. I think they even did a pack of them, or a double pack in the 30th anniversary line, where it just came with two of these. But of course, they're a little bit more articulated and a little more complex than this. I never got a chance to get any of those. I do recall seeing them at retail. But I would like to get some more pit droids, and this one's a great start. Looks really good, has some nice details. He's kind of a light tan color, I suppose. Has his antennas here. I did have to soak him in some soapy water because the tape went right over his antennas there. And unfortunately, the sticky residue was left behind on them. But when it comes to getting that stickiness from the tape off of action figures, it's usually pretty easy. It's not like the plastic deteriorating, which one of the action figures we're going to be taking a look at in either the next video or the one after that. I had a severe case of deteriorating plastic with it, and it's not quite 100% there, but I would say it's about 60% there. But I'll talk more about that later. He has that circle on his chest there, then a little bit different color, like a dark gray. And of course his legs here. He is articulated. He does have his head on that ball point there, which has a great range of motion. It can pop off pretty easy. I've already had it happen a couple times now. And then he just has swivel shoulders and then swivel hips there. So you could have him do like the Frankenstein walk or a zombie walk or something like that. He doesn't come with any accessories, but you could have him hold on to something if you wanted to. I'm not sure if there's any wrenches or anything like that that come with action figures, a hydro spanner or anything like that. So that's the pit droid. And we'll take a look at the main character here. So as you can see, he's a pretty slim action figure. Kind of a similar body to like Ben Quadranero's, where he doesn't really have much of a body itself at all. It's just all legs and then the head and the neck, and that's pretty much it. But he has a little bit more than Quadranero's. So you see he has his goggles on, and then he has his helmet with his bandana basically draped over the back of his neck. Does have a point at the top of his helmet there. I'm trying to think, it's not a bandana, but I'm forgetting the exact term for it. Not a whole lot of detail in his actual body there. But I did mention his arms are pretty well articulated, and that's because they're all actually on a ball point here. All four of them, actually. And they're all open palms, as you can see. You can't really hold on to anything. I don't know if a pod racer was made for this guy. I don't think there was. But he really should have had one. And be interesting to see him trying to man this thing. And especially with how far his arms stick out. There's really nothing you can do about that. There is no hinges at his elbows or anything, so his arms really do stick out like that. Then for his legs, then his feet, which pretty interesting. He has the 4 toes with 2 in the front and then 2 in the rear. So it's an interesting way to stand. And I think he's another action figure where he kind of needs a stand. But you can prop his arms in a way where it acts as an extra brace. But you don't always want him to be dragging his arms along. In terms of articulation, I don't think he has an articulated neck. At least I can't swivel mine. If there is, it doesn't really work for me, and I don't want to risk potentially breaking his neck off. But like I said, all 4 of his arms are on a ballpoint, and that's it for his arm articulation. But it's enough to give some range of motion. Yeah, this arm here I have a hard time keeping in place. Seems to want to pop out on me a lot. Let's see. Yeah, he's got a swivel midsection there as well. And I think that's pretty much it. It doesn't look like there's anything in his hips or ankles or knees of any sorts. And then, of course, between him and the Gasgano here and the pit droid, they do not come with any accessories. It's just the 2 of them. Suppose if you want to count the stand here as an accessory, you can. Nice image of him there. Gasgano, Tatooine Pod Race Pilot. And let's see what his voice lines have to say.
Donkey Skywalker, Rastapa human Gulka.
Keep these right here.
Ulchi Wumpa Sababa. Akima, Gasgano wins. The Donkey Skywalker, Rastapa human Gulka. Ulchi Wumpa Sababa. Akima, Gasgano wins.
Pretty interesting voice lines. Not exactly the voice I would picture him having. And quite frankly, I can't recall if he actually does speak of any sorts in the movie. Those voice lines are still pretty good. But that's all I can tell you about Gasgano here. We'll bring out the other pod racer from the Phantom Menace line or the other secondary one, Odi Mandro. And then, of course, his Ultuga droid here. And all four of these look really good together. Happy to have these. And like I mentioned, I hope to reacquire Deadbolt and Mars Guo at some point. And have a nice pod racer pilot collection here, along with their droids. And hopefully get some more pit droids. So would I recommend Gasgano for your collection? I would if you're interested in pod racers, aliens, pod racer pilots, Phantom Menace, anything along those lines. And he's a fairly easy action figure to get. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.